This Day in Sports History. This episode is brought to you by the Sterling Soap Company. How often do you think about your soap? Well, if you answered, not much, maybe you should. You see, a lot of what passes for soap in stores is technically not soap, according to the FDA's definition. It's full of lab-created chemicals and detergents because it's cheaper to make. Now, what if you could buy natural soap made from natural ingredients like tallow, palm oil, coconut oil, and scented with essential oils, and for just a little bit more than you'd pay for grocery store soap? Sterling Soap is 100% natural, and with a wide variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, and cologne, there's a product and a scent for just about everybody. Check them out for yourself at sterlingsoap.com. That's STIRLING soap.com. It's January 24th, and on this day in 1981, Mike Bossy became just the second player in the NHL to score 50 goals in 50 games. It had been 36 years since Montreal's Maurice Richard had become the first and still only to accomplish the rare feat of scoring 50 goals in the first 50 games of the season. In the 1981 season, there were actually two guys who had a shot at it. There was New York Islander Mike Bossy and the LA Kings' Charlie Simmer. Simmer entered his 50th game needing 4 goals, and he was a bit of a long shot. Bossy started the night with 48. The Islanders were at home at the Nassau Coliseum against the Quebec Nordiques, and with the score tied at 4 late in the third, Bossy had yet to find the back of the net. The Islanders got a power play, though, and Bossy used it to his advantage, flipping a backhanded shot past Ron Graham to give the Isles a 5-4 lead and give him his 49th goal of the season. Hockey Night in Canada had been following the action all night with cut-ins, but now with Bossy on the doorstep of equaling Richard, they turned the broadcast over to Jiggs McDonald for the call to see if Bossy could make history.
Ryan Trottier on the right wing boards, trying to set up Bossy in front, but that was cleared. Right to Trottier to Bossy, shoots, he scores! Mike Bossy has his 50th goal! A standing ovation, 50 for Bossy, a minute 29 left in this game. Off the bench come the entire New York Islander team. It's a penalty possibly, but they don't care, leaving the bench for such an occasion as worth a Jake McConnell. 50 goals, he's done it with a minute and 29 seconds left. He still has a chance.
Bossy actually had a chance to better Richard's record in the closing moments of the game, but he passed up a chance at a hat trick and a 51st goal, instead setting up teammate Bryan Trottier. As for Simmer, he actually scored a hat trick against Chicago, but he came up a goal short in his pursuit to equal Richard. Of course, all of those records would be shattered the following year when Wayne Gretzky scored 50 in the first 39 games. All right, so let's talk about another guy equaling an amazing mark on this day in 1999, when David Duval became only the third professional golfer to shoot 59 in a PGA tournament. This was the final round of the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic, played on the PGA West course in Palm Springs, California. Now, this was a bit different from other events in that it was a 5-round tournament. And when he teed off on this Sunday, he was 7 shots back of leader Steve Pate. He started the day hitting fairways and firing at pins, which on Sundays are typically the toughest spots on the green. He birdied the first 3 holes and made the turn 8 under par with a frontside 28. Now, there were 5 par 3s as part of this par 72 course, and Duval birdied 4 of them on this day, prompting playing partner Jeff Maggart to say, "I didn't know these were par 2s." He kept his hot round going with birdies on 10, 11, and 12, and it wasn't until he birdied 16 that the possibility of shooting 59 actually hit him. When he rolled in his 2-foot birdie putt there on 16, he was at 11 under par with 2 holes to play. A par at 17 meant that he needed an eagle on the par 5 finishing hole. He smoked his drive 320 yards to the middle of the fairway, and then he hit a 5-iron 215 yards to the middle of the green that rolled to the back shelf leaving himself a 7-foot putt for eagle and 59.
59, the best final round ever.
Duval had 11 birdies and his final hole eagle for a 13-under par 59. It was the first of the 3 59s that came in the final round, and the most impressive, considering he did it on Sunday with, again, tougher pin positions and also being in the hunt for a win. Though he admitted that shooting 59 was way more important to him than winning a golf tournament. Steve Pate shot a really nice 66 that day, and he finished second by a shot. Duval finished 4 groups in front of Pate, and he had to wait about a half hour to see if he was going to have to play a playoff. Well, Duval said that he would have definitely lost if Pate had been able to roll in his 20-foot birdie putt for a 65 on 18, because he'd spent all of his energy chasing his sub-60 round. On this day in 1982, it was a day of firsts in Super Bowl XVI. It was the first of 2 meetings between San Francisco and Cincinnati in a Super Bowl, and we talked about the second one a few days back. This was the first time that either one of those teams had played in a Super Bowl. The game was played in Pontiac, Michigan, making it the first time that a Super Bowl had been played in a cold-weather city. It was the first Super Bowl for John Madden in the broadcast booth, and it was the first time the Telestrator was used in a game. The 49ers had just scored the first touchdown of the game, the PAT had been kicked, CBS had gone to commercial, the Niners had kicked off to the Bengals, and finally, Madden picked up the light pen and started drawing.
Here was a big play in the drive. It was 3rd and 3. Freddie Solomon starts out here, comes in motion. Charlie Young here runs a post pattern, and then Solomon from this point starts out, runs a corner pattern there, and that's the one that got him down to the goal line. Bad circle.
Now, they called it the CBS chalkboard, but what had just been created was one of the best symbiotic relationships in broadcast sports. I mean, was there a better match for the Telestrator than John Madden? He made it his own, using his personality and his coaching experience to bring the game to life to armchair quarterbacks nationwide. And of course, he also had a little fun with it.
See how heat does come out of the top of your head? Look at it, just coming off at Nate's head there. This is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket. I mean, he got a little in here and a little up there, here, but he doesn't have anything here at all.
The Niners led 20-0 at half. It was 20-7 in the third when the Niners came up with the key play, or really plays. Cincy had 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, but they failed to score in those 4 plays. That kept the momentum from fully swinging in the Bengals' favor. San Francisco won 26-21 behind 4 Ray Wersching field goals. And one more first for you. This was the first time that the losing team scored more touchdowns than the winner. And in 1981, ABA and then NBA great Ron Boone was released by the Utah Jazz. He had offers to play for other teams, but he decided to retire instead, ending his record streak of 1,041 games played. Now, that is amazing in itself, but to make it even more amazing is that he never missed a game. He was a pro for 1,041 games, and he played at least 20 minutes in every single one of them. Boone's consecutive game streak was eventually broken by LA's AC Green. And time now for today's That's Got Nothing to Do with Sports fun fact. Pumpernickel. It's fun to say, delicious to eat. But you may be interested to know that traditional pumpernickel, made with rye flour, molasses, and sourdough starter, causes flatulence.
What did you say?
And that the name itself comes from the German word pumpern, meaning to break wind.
What?
And nickel for goblin. So, translated literally, pumpernickel means goblin fart.
Say what?
You're welcome. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.